Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at $34,028, down 1.6%. Ethereum currently trading at $22.36, down 1.39%. We notice the stable coins USDC, DAI, USDT, BUSD. They're kind of mixed at the moment. Red means that money is flowing out of the stable coin into the crypto market. I always start with this particular chart because I really love to show you how the entire crypto market is moving. It shows you that when things turn red and green, they follow a specific pattern. We'll go more and go deeper into these patterns as we progress. I'd just like to let you know, if you're new here, everything I do for you is free. I'm sharing 20 plus years of trading experience because I saw so many YouTube channels just basically destroying people's future financially through very erroneous advice. And I thought, I really need to do something about this. I make my money through the markets, so I don't have any paid groups or reports. I don't have any indicators. I don't promote leverage trading links. I think until you're an expert, you shouldn't touch any form of leverage trading. I show you how to think and how to approach your trades. And I do all of this because I would like you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. But what does it mean, financial blessing? I had a very interesting comment yesterday, or basically today, that said, what do you mean by financial blessing? Let's get into that. I think it's a really, really good question. Life, unfortunately, is filled with pain, and it's filled with loss and regret and a lot of other things. It's also filled with happiness and caring and love. When we're young, we tend to focus on ourselves. I put this little thing "you" in here, but it really means all of us. People focus on themselves. When they're a little baby, they reach out for the toy, they want it. And when they don't get the toy, they're not very happy about it. When we grow up, it's often that we can think about life as supposedly giving us what we want, just like hopefully our parents do. And for some people, that's not a reality. They don't even have that. The issue is that pain is constant through life. It's the sort of darkness in life, but there's also light and sunshine as well. When we seek out pleasure, when we're young, we don't know better. We seek out pleasure, we want to cover the pain, the disappointment, the feelings of low self-esteem or not belonging. There's so many different forms of pain. So we seek out pleasure, and we can seek out pleasure in a lot of different ways. It can be by blaming others. It can be by criticizing, by negativity. It can escalate into addictions such as food or smoking or drinking or gambling or many other things. Unfortunately, this cycle leads to misery. It's a self-perpetuating cycle where the misery causes more pain. Seeking pleasure just causes misery. It's a very nasty cycle to be caught in. When we talk about blessings, we're talking about our focus shifting from you to other people. It's a really good shift in focus. Now, what does it mean focusing on others? And why should we do that? Aren't we the most important people in the world? To ourselves, yes, of course, we're very important. As you get older, you realize that it's not about yourself. It's about those that you love. Sharing and caring and giving and having a positive attitude and loving and understanding and forgiveness. Forgiveness is really what we do for ourselves. We acknowledge the hurt of the past and we just say, wow, I wish that was done differently, but I understand it was done in the way it was. So I just put it on the shelf. I acknowledge it, but I let it go and I keep on walking. When you are sharing, when you are caring, when you are positive and loving and kind, you create blessings in your own life and lives of other people. That creates a beautiful fulfillment process. Instead of misery, you're fulfilling yourself and other people. You are positively contributing to the world. That gives you meaning. It's a beautiful cycle, this blessing cycle. I'm so happy that person reached out and said, what does blessing mean? It means so many things. It's not just about money. In fact, it's an attitude. It's really not about money at all. It's just knowing that you can actually move from this side to this side. We always have to realize that you are important. You can't just live over here. You need to balance things out, and balance is also critically important. I hope that helps in explaining what I feel blessing means. You know, this episode is on the KS model and proving the real trend, but you say, hey Ken, I've got H-bar, I just want to trade this. I don't know, please tell me, when should I buy, when should I sell? And I would say, first of all, you can't be here. If you're just looking here without market context, you're probably going to get destroyed. So you might say, hey Ken, but it's okay. I've been following Bitcoin, Bitcoin's fingerprint. I know where Bitcoin is. Look at this. I'm happy. I reckon it's time to pull the trigger. I just want to buy, or I want to sell, or I want to do something. Just, I need to act. I would say, please slow down. We need to go another couple of steps. But why do we need to go a few steps? I'll show you. Here's an example of KSM that we just talked about in a recent episode. You might say, wow, this looks pretty good. It's going up. Fantastic. And I'll just pull the process over. Now, what happened here? In one day, it went down 75%. Now, I'm not trying to freak you out. Crypto is really, really volatile. We have to keep an eye on what we're doing. We need to always understand that the markets are volatile. And by volatile, I mean we have to keep an eye right across the board at every time. We don't just say, I said that it was going up, so it's going up. We need to test every day. Now, the interesting thing, as I pointed out in the community yesterday, if you manage to buy that falling knife there, and maybe you just sold it around here, you would make a 230% gain. So with great loss comes great gain. It's almost like life. If you consider all the things in your life that have happened to you, all those incredible losses, whatever has happened, you can turn those to a positive and they can fuel your life for the better. It's just like stocks, trading, coins, they're all the same. Just giving you a slightly different perspective. So what do we do? What I do is that I always look for the true trend every day. I apply a process called the KS process that I've developed over 20 plus years to try and understand this. It's really important to know the true trend. What I've learnt over many, many years, if we go against the true trend, we call in rule 666. 666 is the nastiest rule of the bunch. It may not seem nasty, but when I say rule 666, markets humble, when I say humble, they basically destroy you. They make you question everything about yourself, your judgment, how you approach things. They humble you literally. If you notice traders, investors that are very humble, they are humble for a reason. The market is all powerful. It's an amazing force of nature. And when you're humble, you can move with the market. When you're fixed, the market will basically destroy you. It's really, really important to be as humble as you can be. What does that mean? Humble means that you just look at everything through the eyes that you can be wrong. And you say, wow, I think this is right, but I can be wrong. Let's collect probabilities to make sure that it's actually going in the right direction. Rule 148 is really, really important for you and important for your growth as an investor and trader. This rule, be 100% responsible. You might listen to the news, you might listen to or read or watch anything and say, wow, that's great advice, I'm going to go for that. But please always be 100% responsible. What this means is that you can learn and grow and change and not blame. If you get caught in the negative cycle of life, if we get caught here in the blaming and the misery. We get trapped. It's really important learning and growth. That learning and growth will allow you to create rules that you can live and trade by. It's very powerful. I wanted to give you that introduction because so many people just want to pull the trigger, and I see that in the comments and talk in the community. I just want to help you to see a different path. I really care for you. I want you to do well. To do well means it's really important to slow down. One of the most important things that you can ever understand is this rule 209. Institutional is not retail. This is really critical. I see so many YouTube channels talking about institutional psychology. They really don't know what they're saying. It's really, really scary. So let me help you to understand a little bit more about what that is. I wrote this article on Medium about the KSModel predicting Bitcoin at 486,000. I will provide a link. In here, there are a lot of definitions on how institutions differ from retail thinking. It's really, really important. I think it's so important. I would really urge you to read it. It's going to help you to understand. I'll make sure that I provide this link in the description. To understand institutional price psychology, we turn to the KS model. What the KS model, this is the price of Bitcoin real time. We can see Bitcoin is currently trading at $33,880, above its market low, above the previous all-time high of the last cycle, which is kind of a rule that Bitcoin obeys. Institutional price psychology is always broken into three phases after each halving: a bull market, a bear market, consolidation. Bull market, bear market, consolidation. Bull market, there will be a bear market and there will be consolidation. You can make money at any time in the market, absolutely, and you don't have to short to do it. You can still go long in bear markets and do very, very well, but you've got to know what you're doing. Institutional price psychology, based on the analysis from yesterday, was very positive, but we need to acid test that. Is it still positive? Is the model still valid? Is it broken? We have to test every day. How do we test? We use Rule 85. All trading and investing, because all investors become traders in order to sell or in order to buy. All trading and investing is probabilistic. That means we have to collect a weight of evidence to support our assumption, thesis, or idea. Let's have a look at the data. We can see through the realized cap hodl waves. Don't worry too much about these things. I will do a video. I really want you to look, because I know so many people are new to crypto. Look at the patterns. Look at what the data is telling us. When I was lecturing first and second year stats, everything to me was about students understanding what they were doing, not memorizing pages and pages of formulae, just getting it, just understanding what it meant. You see this hill here, this red hill? You see 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're at 1. What does that tell you? We're waiting for 2 and 3. What's the probability the price is going up? It's pretty good, but that's not enough information. We need to dig further. Bitcoin is an exponential asset class, which means it goes between euphoria and capitulation. Capitulation means surrender. Euphoria means irrational exuberance. We look at net unrealized profit and loss, or NUPL, to understand if we've hit euphoria. Have we hit euphoria in this current cycle? No, we haven't. Are we below euphoria? Because below is this green area, belief or denial. Here, no, we haven't hit that. We're in yellow down here. It's looking good. When we build on the past analysis, this is a supporting piece of evidence. Let's look further. We have to acid test if the model is still correct. Let's look at reserve risk. We notice that when price blows up here, we get reserve risk entering this red zone. Peak, peak, red, red. Where is the current price action? Here. Where is reserve risk? It's down towards the green. What happens when it's towards the green? Generally, well, actually, price goes up. We're crossing different psychological states here by what we're doing. We need to be careful of that. But what we can see is that we're closer to the green than the red. That's another piece of supporting evidence that says prices are going higher. I've been involved in mathematics and analysis since I was just a little kid. I always loved the complexity of mathematics. I look at different mathematical indicators and I'm really interested to see how they help us to predict things. Things need to be practical and need to be real. When I was doing my management consulting for top tier firms, it was all about we need to weave a story together to present to the board of directors or executive committees. It's all about the story. We're currently building up a story that either tells us things are going the way we want or they're not. And we don't mind which way they're going. If they're up here in the peak, we need to be aware of that. We need to be practical. You'll find me to be an incredibly practical person. I will just call out how it is. Let's look at the Puel multiple. We can see a red area blow off top here, here, here. Puel goes up into this red zone. Where is it right now? It's down close to the green zone. What does that mean? It's another supporting piece of evidence that prices are going to go up. A very well-known model out there is the stock to flow ratio. You've probably seen it around. It's a nice piece of work. People tend to like colored things, and this is pretty colorful. We've got a green dot here. So we look at this green dot and we try to look backwards to the before the last peak. Where is that green? It's kind of a dark green. Could it be here? Could it be up there? It's a little bit hard to tell, but it's not at the peak, which is a light green. If we go back to this current cycle, our previous cycle, where is the current color of that green? It's a little hard to tell. Maybe it's around there, maybe it's around there, maybe it's there. It's hard to tell, but it is not a peaking color. So that gives us another piece of supporting evidence that prices are going higher. It's not just good enough for us to stick in Bitcoin. We know that black swan events can impact the price of Bitcoin and all cryptos, especially the altcoins. If you look here, these lightning bolts describe black swan events. We should always be looking for black swan events. They're very hard to predict, but they're really, really important. And even though a lot of people say that they're impossible to detect, I don't believe so. I see, because I've been in the market so long, I've seen evidence of black swans emerging through weakness in major indices. So we really need to check if major indices are weak. Let's go into that. This really is all about you pulling the trigger on your favorite altcoin. This is what you need to do. I'd just like to share with you that 95% of traders and investors lose money. They do because they don't do this process. I'm trying to help you to get into that 5% category where you can be a blessing to yourself and other people. It's a really worthwhile process. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worthwhile. Before we hit the major industries, I'd just like to share something with you. I had a community member reach out and share this URL. It's casebitcoin.com/charts or casebitcoin.com charts. It's fantastic. I love it when people reach out to me and give me more data. It just makes me so happy. If you ever want anything covered, please let me know. Anything additional to what we're covering. I'm really, really happy to help. Look at this, Bitcoin versus traditional asset ROI. So we look at the S&P 500 over 10 years, it returned 226%. That's pretty good. Gold, 16%. Whoa, 10 years, Bitcoin, 233,433%. That's not bad. Bitcoin and traditional assets, compound annual growth rate, CAGR. What happened here? CAGR, compound annual growth rate, 13% over 10 years, 2% for gold, 117% for Bitcoin. I just would like to let you know that I love gold. I think gold is just a beautiful, precious metal, and it always captivated me. I've always loved gold, and anyone who knows me well knows that to be a fact. I used to trade in gold. I don't trade gold anymore. I'm not interested in gold. And that is because Bitcoin is just an incredible thing. If you love gold and that's your edge, that's terrific. We all have different edges. We don't have to have the same edge. It's just like if you have the majority of your money in stocks, you can trade stocks or invest in stocks. Nobody can tell you what to do. And it's really important you cover and walk your own path. When we check the stock markets, we're looking for structural weakness. I just draw one line here because that's the one line that we need to watch. You notice that the price of Bitcoin is superimposed on that chart, which helps you not only understand how the chart is reacting, but how Bitcoin reacts to the chart. I think it's a really, really important thing for you to see. I look at futures. I could look at, for example, NASDAQ 100, but the futures tend to give us a bit more predictive information. We can see price moving in a wave. We always know price moves in a wave. It goes down and it goes up and down and up and down and up. What's going to happen next? It's going to come down. You know what's going to happen when it comes down? All the media and press are going to jump on. Next crash, 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 and it'll get to structural support and it will go up. And they'll say, oh, we were wrong. Happens all the time. It's just incredible. You notice, maybe even look back to around the start of Feb here to March. That period of time when price was going up and then it started to retrace, it just hit structural support. Everybody was saying, oh, it's the end of the market. Markets are going to collapse. Oh, markets are crashing. Markets are not crashing. Okay, let's look at the S&P 500. We can see moving up, moving down, moving up, broken over an all-time high, little bit extended, due for a pullback here to structural support. Price moves in a wave. Rule 4, always, that is a favorite rule. That will save you so much money. Everything good here? Yes, it is. Let's have a look at the Russell 2000. After a huge percentage move up, it's consolidating, and consolidating well. Fine. Let's have a look at the Dow Jones. Structural support in play. High, lower high. That makes us wonder. But current price is reaching that high. We're hoping it gets above here. But even if it just comes back and tests that line and resumes off, that's fine. But it's good to keep our eye. Some weakness here in the Dow Jones. Nothing to make us worried at all, but it is there. Again, we just see without bias. It's really important rule. ARK Innovation ETF, what do we see here? It's over resistance. It's holding support. It's done a good run. That's positive because ARK invests in a lot of Bitcoin. What about Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust? Everybody is talking about this at the moment. Look at the price of Bitcoin tracking. Isn't it beautiful? It's right on the price. We know where Bitcoin is heading because we've done so much analysis on it. Where do you think Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is heading? It needs to get over this resistance first, but when it does, it's looking good. Let's have a look at MicroStrategy. Like ARK, it has passed through this resistance and now turned that to support, come back, retested that line, and is resuming off. Looks very good. How about RIOT Blockchain? after a fantastic move up, digestion has occurred. It's crossed over the resistance, turned it into support. It's got fresh air underneath this. Are we worried? No, absolutely not. It's looking good. This is why we do so much analysis. Let's have a look at the US dollar. People reached out and said, what is the US dollar index? It's a geometric weighted average of a basket of foreign currencies against the dollar. They include the euro, Japanese yen, British pound, Canadian dollar, Swedish krona, Swiss franc. It really represents 24 countries. They're trying to understand how things are moving in a relative fashion. I hope that answers some of the questions that were in the community. We can see now that the dollar has passed over resistance. It struck another level of resistance and it's backing off, which is quite normal. Let's have a look at the 10-year note yield. We can see that's coming up to support. The 30-year would be doing quite similarly. Yep. Let's have a look at gold. The reason we look at gold is a flight to safety asset. In circumstances where the world goes into COVID, for example, gold tends to do well. But it's really important to understand, as a past gold trader, I saw gold selling off dramatically, traumatically. So it's not always what people say. It did become a flight to safety, but because of liquidity and other problems, people actually sold their gold and that drove the price down. It was a bit of a shock to a lot of gold holders that happened, but it's really interesting to know. Overall, gold is looking pretty good. It's still under this resistance, but this is just a digestion of a previously magnificent move that gold put in. Let's have a look at silver. Silver is really industrial, got a lot of industrial uses. If we have a look at silver, it is holding this support very well. If we look across the markets, we don't see any warning signs. That's really important. We've done quite an analysis. We've gone through the true trend. We can say with confidence, Bitcoin is going up. We haven't detected any lightning bolts, and I'll continuously add more and more data in there so we can detect anything coming from any direction. There are massive opportunities in bull markets and also in bear markets, especially in consolidation. If you think just previously we started off with this concept, I've got H-bar, I'd like to know what to do with it. I hope you've got a lot more context. The first thing you do is understand the true trend. And we do this every single day. One episode devoted to understanding the true trend. With that, you can do your technicals. If you miss the true trend, you can get into a lot of problems. To be a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and so many people are involved in a situation where they're working hard, they put money, hard-earned money down. Please invest the time to secure yourself as best you can. In the next episode we do together, we're going to go through Bitcoin's technical analysis and the market. We're going to do all the steps that we need to do to get to a position where you can pull the trigger on your favorite alt. It's an amazing thing. When people come into trading and investing, they spend 95% of their time, or maybe 99% of their time, on their favorite alts, and 1% of the time on doing what they actually need to be doing. What we're doing as a community together is we're flipping that around. We're getting you all set up to be a continuous blessing in your lives and create intergenerational wealth. I hope this has helped out. I hope you found this content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. I'll just take you into Ethereum here so you can look across that ecosystem. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from. And if you have any questions, and also if you have any recommendations of things to look at, I love to hear that. I'm very, very happy to put whatever helps the community out. If you'd like twice daily updates, 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and follow me on Twitter. Crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.